Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter what time zone you happen to be in. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide. We are an online advanced club. And if you are a guest, which I see we have a few, and I see you have the G in front of your name, or if you have a role, please put that in your title. And believe it or not, turn those cell phones off. Club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the charter president, Cynthia Stott. Cynthia, you have the podium.
Okay, great. But first, I want to let you know that Nadine James says she's been in the waiting room for 10 minutes. Let's try to get her in because she's our Toastmaster of the day. So let me just tell her to try again.
Because I don't see her in the waiting room.
She might have left.
Okay.
Please try again. Let me just get that to her. And did you ever see her in the waiting room? Perhaps she used the wrong link.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to tell her to please re-register.
Yes.
Because I think she might have been in the wrong one.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah.
I think because I was in the wrong one too, until you sent me that.
Oh, okay.
I was in the wrong one. It was asking for ID numbers and all sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay. Because she needs to come in. Okay, I gave her the new link and I said, please try again. Please re-register. I think you were in the wrong room. Okay. You know, that's an issue, but we help each other here at Leaders Worldwide. And why is I don't know why can you see me? Oh, now you can see me. Okay. Okay, great.
Okay, Nadine has arrived.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. She will be our Toastmaster of the day. So I'm the charter president of Leaders Worldwide. And I'd like to welcome all of our members and all of our guests to today's meeting. It's going to be a little different. This is our pre-planning meeting for our TEDx event. And we're going to find out what we need to do before we can start actually organizing our event, which we will do in August, if all goes well. But I will be talking about that, a 10-minute speech, so that I can give you kind of the lay of the land. And then we're going to take on questions and answers, like table topics. They will be 1 to 2 minutes that you'll have to speak, to ask your questions or make a comment. But we really want to make sure that you focus not on planning our event. We're not planning the event. We're not figuring out what the theme is. We're not figuring out who should be the organizer and license holder. We're not doing any of that. We're just talking about the timeline and what we need to do to get ready to organize our event. Does that make sense? It's a pre-planning meeting. Okay. I want to welcome all of our guests because they want to know about TEDx too. I'm so glad that we have guests today. And we have Dr. Benjamin Baruta. Can you unmute yourself and let us know, introduce yourself, where you're calling in from, and why you came to this meeting today?
Hi, everybody. Good evening from my side. It's already night. My name is Benjamin from Uganda. It's my second time here, and I'm glad to be here once more. I just didn't know the plan for this platform. I just witnessed the people presenting like it will. I last watched a lady presenting like poem, something like that. Uh, that's where I ended. I started dozing, then I go, I went to sleep. But I'm glad to be here again because I want to learn much from you. Thanks.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. And we're glad that you're coming from Uganda. And it's late at night for you, so we understand if you doze. No problem. Wonderful. Glad you're here. And our guest, Diana Ordonez. Ordonez? Is she away from her mic? Would you like to introduce yourself, where you're calling in from, and why you came today? Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana Ordonez. I'm calling in from New Jersey. And I recently learned about your group at another Toastmasters meeting where they heard that my ultimate goal was to give a TED Talk. And so they referred me to your group. So here I am.
Awesome. Awesome. And you're in the right place, especially for this meeting, because we're going to be talking about having our TEDx event and what we need to do to get ready for it.
Awesome.
Great.
Much for having me.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Atifa. Glad you're here. And we have one more guest. That's Kedar Hussain. Kedar, would you like to introduce yourself, where you're calling in from, and why you came to this meeting today? Kedar? Maybe he's away from his microphone, and it is probably 11 o'clock at his night, so maybe he dozed off and he's just away from his microphone. Great. And Tala is also here. Great. Okay. So let's get this party started. We have our Toastmaster of the day. That's Nadine James. And if she could introduce herself and the meeting, and introduce our timer, who's Isaac Ford. That's really the only role players we will have today, is our Toastmaster of the day and our timer. So Nadine, take it away. Dr. Nadine James, are you at your microphone? Yes, there you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's morning for some people and it's nighttime for some people. So good morning, good afternoon, good night. Just catching my breath. And sorry. So I would like to introduce to you our speaker and our timer for the day. My name is Dr. Nadine James, first of all. And our timer for today is none other than, he's not showing his face today, but
No, I just got my timer face up there.
okay, but is none other than our talented Isaac Ford. And,
Thank you.
And our, Isaac, may I see your face?
Okay. You forced me to do this, so let me show my
Yes,
face.
absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you, Isaac. And,
Okay.
and our speaker for today is,
Can we have Isaac review the timing for today?
Right, Isaac, could you review the timing for today?
Yes, being the timer, it's going to be my job to make sure that the speakers speak on time and that we stay on time. We got a special program today. So starting off will be Cynthia Scott, and her speech is going to be 8 to 10 minutes. So at 8 minutes, you're going to see this. At 9 minutes, you see the yellow. And at 10 minutes, you'll see the red. And she's going to have a Q&A after her speech. And that's going to be 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, you'll see the green, 1.5, the yellow. And at 2 minutes to red. And then you will have, well, you won't have any time to wrap it up. You'll just see the sign saying time's up. So that means stop talking at that point.
Okay.
So that is my job today, is to make sure that the meeting runs on time, and hopefully everybody's going to have a good time. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Isaac. And our speaker for today, should I go directly into the speaker? Because we only have one speaker today.
Yes,
Right.
that's
So
it. We just have
right,
speaking
right.
and Q&A.
Right, so our speaker for today is none other than our founder, one of our founders, Cynthia Stutz.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. But first, I want to do some housekeeping and ask Isaac, can you raise your hand electronically so I can see the timing and will not speak over time? Great, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about TEDx and our event here at TEDx. And this is a very special meeting. I'm the only formal speaker, prepared speaker, and we're going to have lots of time for Q&A. But we're talking about planning our TEDx event. We're not planning it. We're doing a pre-planning meeting. We're going to talk about the timeline and what we need to do in order to get ready to have an organizing meeting. And that will hopefully be in August, on August 5th at 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. in their evening session, and not August 5th, August 7th and August 14th in the afternoon at 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., which is the same time as this meeting is. And we're going to have the same kind of meeting next week, which is a pre-planning meeting for our TEDx event. So you can come back if you have more questions, or we'll also have other guests and members that will like to listen in. So first of all, I am not aware of any other Toastmasters club that has organized a TEDx event except for one. And that club is in Bahrain, and they organized a TEDx event in 2010. Now, saying that, TEDx and Toastmasters cannot be co-branded. That means Toastmasters is not a part of TEDx. TEDx is not an official part of Toastmasters, but any community can organize a TEDx event. And as Leaders Worldwide, we are a community that will organize a TEDx event. Now, we will probably have to be called not Leaders Worldwide TEDx event, but something like a location. Usually they have like San Francisco TEDx, the Oakland TEDx, Lake Merritt TEDx. Something regarding a location will be named, but we as a community can come together. And as far as I know, well, exactly what Ted has said, as of now, they allow both online and virtual and offline events, so in-person events and virtual events. And so if when we get ready to do our TEDx event, we're hoping that the rules stay the same. We'll check and see. And our best way would be virtual. Number one, because we have people all over the country, all over the US, and all over the world. Number two, it would be a lot more expensive to hold an event at a in-person place, because we have to have a videographer, at least one cameraman. We have to have a place to meet, and we have to have a good audio system, because TED requires that your video have a pristine audio and a pristine video, and then some other things about it in order to post you on YouTube as a TEDx speaker. Now, many TEDx speakers are not posted on YouTube, never seen the light of day of TEDx, and never have a chance to go viral. Recently, I heard about a TEDx event that happened fairly recently. They had 25 speakers. They had all auditioned. They had all been approved. They had all spoken at the TEDx event, but only 5 of them were posted to YouTube. I don't want that to happen to us. I do not want that to happen to us. The reason they weren't posted was, number 1, either the video wasn't good. Number 2, the audio wasn't good. Or number 3, it didn't meet the TEDx guidelines for the speech. So they have guidelines, and I'll post those in our WhatsApp group. And for our guests, I'll post them in our guest WhatsApp group after we finish here. There are guidelines for TED and how to organize it and how to become. Please don't chat. If you chat, I just will ignore your chat. So can I have someone be our chat reader? Nadine, someone posted something in the chat. Can you read it for me? Because if I try to read it, I'll go off screen and I'll mess up my Zoom.
Right, it's Dr. Benjamin. So I'm just asking you to hold all questions and chats until Cynthia is done, or when we get to our question and answer section. He said, hello, I'm sorry, typing here is not allowed, but I want to know, how do I get the topic? Is participation for anybody? What does this platform target, and what is TEDx? All right, so all these questions will be answered.
Okay, I'm going to answer that in just a minute. Yeah, go ahead, Nadine.
Right, so his questions are, how do I get the topic? Is participation for anybody? What does this platform target, and what is TEDx?
Okay, those are great questions because I can talk about them in my 10 minutes. Great. So please hold all other questions for the questions and answer portion, because we're going to have the entire meeting. We're not going to have any other events today. Nothing. Maybe takeaway and chocolates at the most. We're going to have plenty of time for questions. So what was his first question?
How do I get the topic?
How do I get the topic? The second one
Is participation for anybody?
is participation for anybody. And third,
what does this platform target, and what is TEDx?
What is TEDx? Okay. First of all, the topic is your idea worth spreading. What your idea worth spreading is. So you choose the topic. Second, participation. TED requires an audition, and for our community, we require that you become a member of our community. So you join our Toastmasters, Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club in order to be a part of the event. And then on top of that, all of our members, including me, will need to audition. And we will have 3 levels of speaking. It will be 5 to 7 minutes speech. That will be the first one that will be auditioned. If you pass the audition, you are welcome to either give your speech, your TEDx speech, as a 5 to 7 minute speech, or expand that same speech, not changing your topic, but same speech, and you can audition it again for 10 to 12 minutes. If you pass that one, then you'll be invited to audition it for 16 to 18 minutes. The maximum allowed by TED is 18 minutes. The shortest is about 5 minutes. So we will be in that range, having our 5 to 7 minute speeches, 10 to 12 minute speeches, and 16 to 18 minute speeches. That way, our longest speeches will be our best speakers and our best speeches, because they will be auditioned at least 3 times. So those are really good questions that you asked. Now, first of all, TEDx versus TED. TED was started, I think, in 1984 as a conference, and it was called TED, T-E-D, for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. I always think the E stands for engineering, because there's a lot of engineering discussions on it, but it has been widened and opened up to any idea worth spreading. It can be in education, leadership, and the top 3 TED Talks have been viewed at least 60 million times, and they are not anything to do with technology, entertainment, and design. They're to do with education. The first one is Ken Robinson, who talks about schools and do schools kill creativity? And that's been viewed 80 million times. The second one is by Amy Cuddy, and it's what your body language says about you. She does her power postures, and that's been viewed almost 80 million times. And the third one is Simon Sinek's Start with Your Why about leadership. And they have all been viewed. And the different thing is that the top 2 were on TED stages. The third one, Simon Sinek's, was on TEDx stage. So they're very different, but they have equal footing when it comes to being viewed. So a TED stage is the big stage. They only have it a couple times a year. There's less than 500 spots to speak in, and there's 25,000 auditioners. So it's hard to get on TED. So they created another event called TEDx, and that's much easier to get on because there are hundreds of TEDx events with, we'll probably have 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 auditioners for the same amount of spots for ours, because we're a part of the community. So my time is running short. The thing we have to do as a Toastmasters community, because we have weekly events called meetings, and they need the agenda to be filled. And I've been personally spending about 15 hours a week on it, and I have no time to focus on our TEDx event. So everyone needs to get their information into our agenda creating program. Now, I agree with you. Easy Speak is not easy. We're tossing it out the window. We are not doing Easy Speak anymore. What we are doing is Free Toast Host. Now, first, let me give 2 reasons why Easy Speak. Easy Speak is not easy because it does not always save your data. It loses your data. And many of our members have experienced this. Members that have been in Easy Speak, and they also have a Toastmasters club that uses Free Toast Host, have never lost their data. It is easy to sign up, and it is retained. And in Easy Speak, you have to request a speech, and it goes into some spurious place. You don't know where it is. But in Free Toast Host, all the speaking spots are assigned right there. And all you do is, if it's open, you click sign up. You can enter your title, your workbook information, and your introduction. Save it right there. It's very easy to save, and it never loses your data. Well, I won't say never, because never happens. But Easy Speak routinely does not allow you to save. So we're chucking Easy Speak. You will no longer have to deal with it. And we're going to start Free Toast Host. And we, of course, have to get it set up, and we need to get that done within the next week. Next week, you're not going to have to sign up for any roles, or, well, the only thing we'll need is a timer and a Toastmaster like we do today. We'll sign it. We'll have people volunteer for that. And that's what we'll do. But we need to have everyone signing up for a role, and on your own. No one's going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you. Atifa, our VPE, is not going to ask you. Tal is not going to ask you. You all need to sign up in as soon as you can, but starting in June, we are going to check on June 3rd. Are all the roles filled and the agenda filled by our members by themselves? Then we will have our actual planning meeting at our meeting on August 7th and August 14th. But we will not have that planning meeting until all those roles have been filled by you, by our members. No one asking you, no one encouraging you, no one chasing after you. Okay? Great. So that's what we're going to have. We're going to have the easy speaks going away. Free Toast host will be our agenda creator, and you will have to do everything yourself. Sign up for TMOD, sign up for timers, sign up for speaking spots, put all your information in there. And if you don't have your information in there, you're going to be booted out. So if you sign up for a speaking spot, make sure you have title of your speech, work that you're working on, and the introduction so that everything is there. And it's going to have to be done all the way for every single meeting in June and July and August and every month going forward. If we have a month where it's not filled, guess what? We stop the TEDx planning and we have to wait another month. So we will not be delayed unless you delay. Okay? Because we're in it together. The only way we can get this done is if we're all pulling our weight. We're all doing our part. Okay? And I got another question. Okay, I will take that question first in just a minute, but let me finish the speech. We're all doing our part. So teamwork makes the dream work. And without teamwork, this dream of having a TEDx event will not happen. So it's up to you. It's up to you. And let's see. I finished the speech. Okay. So Nadine, can you read the question?
Yes. Diana is asking, what workbook are we referencing and what does it take to become a member?
Okay, great. Awesome. Good questions. First of all, the workbook is your pathways information.
Just a minute, Cynthia. Are we in the
yes.
question and answer section?
What?
Are we in the question and
Yes,
answer?
we are in the Q&A section.
Okay.
And the timing will start if we have a speaker that raises their hand, and that would be the best. We can do it either way. And these questions are going to be answered by me and Tala bin Hamid. Can you introduce our president, Tala bin Hamid, please?
Yes. Hi, Tala. This is our president, Tala bin Hamid. Tala, would you like a minute or so to say something?
Well, I'm your president, Tala bin Hamid. Apologies for joining late. Actually, I'm traveling. I'm in another city. But that also means that I have power. So good. So, yeah. So I've been listening to the session for some time. And of course, we do have a plan, which Cynthia must have detailed in great detail. So any questions that you have with respect to that, please feel free to pose them.
Awesome. And one more planning thing that I didn't get to say is that in August, we'll do our actual planning. We'll decide what kind of organizer we're going to have, what kind of license holder we're going to have. We'll decide who that will be and invite them. And then we will have auditions probably in November, starting in November, auditions. And that will just depend upon how many auditions we need. And we'll decide who's going to be doing the auditioning. It probably will not be Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters will probably have other Toastmasters or other organizers or people that will do the auditions, but we'll decide that in August. And then we hope to have our actual TED event in February or March of 2024. And we can have an actual event that can take one day. We can plan a second one or a third one that's all day, or we can also have what they call salon sessions, which are mini sessions in between. So there's lots of options, and we need to decide those in August. Okay, and I first want to answer the questions for our guest. First of all, what was the questions again? Just the first one?
What workbook are we referencing?
What workbook? Okay. So Toastmasters International has an educational program. It's a nonprofit educational nonprofit system. So they have an educational system that's online that's called Pathways. And it has training, it has videos, it has assessments. It's a whole online training program. And then you take that online, which is self-studied and self-paced, and then you do your projects in your club at Leaders Worldwide. So you have speeches. You have the first 3 levels only have speeches, lots of speeches, and lots of techniques for vocal variety, body language, purpose, all sorts of training. And then the higher levels, level 4 and level 5, have projects. They might be a panel discussion like I'm doing as my project today is a panel discussion because we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have Q&A after. They might be a high performance leadership project where you have to take on a guidance committee that helps direct you and an action team, because as a leader, you should not be doing the action. You should guide others to do the action. You should delegate. That's a very important part of leadership. So it's a whole system, and we can have a separate training on that on Pathways. And there are 11 pathways to choose from effective humor and presentation mastery to dynamic leadership. There's 11 of them. Okay, what's your second question?
The second question, what does it take to become a member?
It takes filling out an application, paying your dues, which is for right now $45 for 6 months, plus a one-time new member fee of $20. Plus, most clubs have a club due fee of about $1 to $2 a month. But at Leaders Worldwide, we waive that if you do an annual membership. So it's about $90 right now, $20 for the new member fee, and we waive the club dues. So it's $110 to join annually. Was that all the questions of her, Nadine?
Yes, and I have one question, Cynthia, if you could just...
Okay. Okay, we'll take your question after there's one more in the chat.
No, that's not another question. Atifa is just saying it's midnight for me. See you around. Thank you.
Okay, so she's leaving. Okay, and what's your question, Nadine?
Could you just clarify something about the payment? You said it's 110 for the year, but is it 110 for the year for new members? So
for new members.
Okay.
I was talking to a new member. Yeah.
Oh, for the first year, correct?
For the first year, because there's $20 new member fee. It's once in a lifetime that you have to pay that. Okay. And starting in October, the fee is going to go up to $60 rather than $45. But if you pay it between now and July, you can get it for $45 for October through March. So we'll be asking people to pay early so they can get the discount. Does that make sense, Nadine?
Yes. And so for the year, as of March for the year, it would be 120.
Yes,
As of October for the year.
yes. As
Okay.
of October for the year, for the international dues, it'd be $120. And still, new members would have to pay $20 if they come on, and club dues would be waived by Leaders Worldwide if you sign up annually. Great. Awesome. So
Any more
now
questions?
we're ready. I'm sorry?
Cassandra has a question. Mr. Timer, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. And
Okay.
Cassandra, you need to unmute.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes for your question or comment. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, mine was more of a comment going back to Diana's question in regards to how it all works and intertwine. I just wanted to comment that Diana, as part of with the TEDx and coming to Leaders Worldwide, when you come, the VP of Education Department, we also do like an assessment, knowing that you wanted the TEDx. That part of in the beginning part with the assessment, we gear towards everything with the pathways. We take all of that into consideration, and everything is geared towards you gaining your goals. So that is all geared towards giving you just what you want. We want to make sure that you attain just what you need and want out of Leaders Worldwide. So TEDx is what you want. All of your skills and education there at Leaders Worldwide is going to be geared towards you attaining your goals. So that part of it, the VP of Education, the Education Department will make sure that you strive and get what you want out of Leaders Worldwide. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Cassandra. That was awesome. Now, does anyone else have a question or a comment? If you raise your hand. I'm sorry?
Diana has a question.
Okay.
I was just gonna, bouncing off of what Cassandra said, if I understand this all correctly, after I submit my application, that gives me access to this path platform. And then based on what that my goal is to become a TEDx speaker, you're going to assign me the modules that are appropriate, or you guide me, or does it show me what I should be working on? Is that
great? Good question.
And then
So,
just one more question about the assessment.
let's answer one question at a time, please. Okay, awesome. So TEDx is not in Pathways. There's no information in Pathways regarding TEDx. But Leaders Worldwide, we will help you to decide on what you want, which pathway you want to take. For example, I think, so we won't time this portion. It's just the timing is 1 to 2 minutes for them. And then our answers can be longer than that. Thanks, Isaac. And then, so it's not TEDx centric, but we will advise you, and you can decide. You still decide. You choose what path you want to take. But my personal recommendation, if you want to be in TEDx, focus on presentation mastery path. That would get you the most, because that prepares you to be a professional speaker. That's one of the last required projects is a 20-minute keynote style presentation, which 20 minutes is also close to 18 minutes for a TEDx. So if you made it at Leaders Worldwide through your 5 to 7 minute version, your 10 to 12 minute version, and your 16 to 18 minute version, you would be giving that style of speech. But we do have that extra bar for you to go through to make sure that your speech is good. Because it is in Leaders Worldwide benefit if you have a good speech, because that means that your speech will be accepted on YouTube. And if you're not, it's going to be rejected. And that wouldn't be good for us as a community going for a TEDx event. Does that answer your question? Okay. And we can start the timer wherever she left off would be great for her second question, so that she gets only 2 minutes total. Go ahead, Diane.
The other question was just, there was references to a assessment, and I was just not sure if that was like a special assessment at like the beginning, or if you just meant during every meeting, or yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Okay, so and this isn't her time either. There are many assessments on pathways, and those are great to take and will give you more support. What Cassandra was talking about was the VP of Education team or department will be crafting a assessment to determine what your goals are. And I don't know if we don't have that yet. We haven't planned that yet. But Cassandra, do you have any idea what that assessment would be? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Yeah.
We had one last year in which we had a conversation with each member that came into the education department, and we discussed what were their goals, why did they come. So it was basically your why, and we know your why, Diana, as far as with the TEDx. So as far as when you take your assessment and pathways and you decide which pathway you want to go, and so when you come in, you decide with us, where do you want to go in 5 months, a year? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to work with within Leaders Worldwide? Do you want to take a role on as far as where do you want to go? Do you want to go to BTM? What do you want to do to gain more access? What contact? And we put you into so that you stretch and grow as far as gaining more of a foundation into the speaking world, so that we can put you in contact with more people, get you more visibility, that type of thing, so that you can grow. We can bring more people in, so more in the lines of what you're doing, so that you can hear, we can get more people in to give more speeches into the world where you can connect with, so that you can hear that type of thing.
Great. And we can also tell you about, we have a District 57 Speakers Bureau that's also eligible for Leaders Worldwide members. And that gives you more opportunity to learn how to speak and visibility as well. And we also have newly reestablished is the Toastmaster Time TV program, which is a public access program, public access studio in Silicon Valley that we have access to once a month. And if you're a member of Leaders Worldwide and other clubs of District 57, you can speak in person in that studio. There's 3 to 4 cameras. There's a red rug like TED. It's a professional studio with a full staff that can support you. So we have many things here at Leaders Worldwide and in District 57, many opportunities that will support you as a professional speaker, including TED. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank you very much.
Awesome. Now we'll open them up to the floor. to anyone else's questions, and also Tala, if you want to chime in with any information. Anyone else have a question or comment? Oh, you must have a question. Don't you have a question about the agenda and what does that mean? And what is free toast host? And I didn't like easy speak, and I'm glad you're rid of it. Paula, yes.
Yeah, so it's not a question. I just would like to add something. First of all, I think it's great that we have decided to switch to free toast host. I believe it is quite a bit better than easy speak. I also, again, am no expert because I only just started to learn to operate easy speak before we started to move on. But from initial impressions, it is also less buggy and more user-friendly. So I just wanted to add here, after all the discussion about TEDx and the way we are planning for it, and what does Leaders Worldwide have to do with TEDx? So I would just like to add here that Leaders Worldwide in particular, and every other Toastmasters club in general, will actually provide you with the tools to conquer the world. Not just TEDx, not just Toastmasters, not just any specific forum. Only your imagination is your limit. So, for example, as a result of association with Toastmaster, I became a professional trainer. And currently, I'm the head of training at a training institute. So I'm not doing my chartered accountancy thing. And they enlisted me after seeing my LinkedIn profile. And that LinkedIn profile is full of Toastmasters activities. So this is a real life example to everyone in this audience. We have so many members here who have spoken around the world. And it's not just about speaking in Toastmasters or in TEDx or on a specific forum. It is about changing people's lives, no matter which channel you use. So TEDx will be, God willing, it will be one of the major landmarks that we achieve. And it will give an unprecedented stage to our members. But the real message is that we should continue to enhance our skills, because there is no free lunch. Use it or lose it in Toastmasters. If we don't continue speaking, whether we are working towards TEDx or not does not matter, because we are wasting ourselves. So that is my message to all the members, that as a club, we have achieved such great successes so far. We remain one of the best clubs in the world in terms of our performance, in terms of our membership body, in terms of our renewals, in terms of our diversity. And in order to keep excelling, we need to keep challenging ourselves and keep speaking. So that's my message to everyone. As long as you keep speaking, all the world will become a stage for you. Over to you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Tala. That was excellent. Really, really good. Great information. And next we have Carrie Kelly and then Nadine James. And if you would like to be in the queue, please raise your hand electronically so that you can get in the queue. We'll have time for everyone. We have until 1 p.m. That's an hour and 10 minutes left. And Carrie Kelly, what's your question or comment?
Okay, so my question is about the way that we need to put our information in the new Toastmaster, what's it called? Hosting?
It's called Free Toast Host.
Free Toast Host. Now you said if we are missing some of the information when we go into it, we get kicked out. Does that, I mean, like?
No, we will, our VP of Education team will, if they look in Free Toast Host and you have signed up for a speech and you have not entered your information, they will probably contact you once and you have less than 24 hours to enter your information. So I recommend that if you can't take a speaking spot and then figure out your title. That's not fair to the other people. So if you take a speaking spot, you need to have your title, you need to know what project you're working on, and you need to have your introduction.
Okay, and is there deadlines for when all of that has to be in order for the agenda to be finalized and all of that? Is that part of this new endeavor as well, or?
And that's what Lydia at least was trying to implement a few weeks ago. Yes, that you have to have all that in, but the Wednesday before the Monday. But we even need it sooner than that because we need the entire month to be filled. So by the fourth Monday of every month, the entire month agenda needs to be filled for the next month, or else we stop all activities organizing our TED event.
Okay, I need clarification about that. So like right now we are in May. Are you saying that the whole month of June needs to be
No,
filled?
no, June does
Okay.
not count because we need time.
Okay.
July counts. So by, we'll probably say by July 3rd, all of July needs to be filled. Every single Monday needs to be filled. And then in August, by the fourth Monday of the month in July, all of August needs to be filled. And by the fourth Monday of August, all of September needs to be filled. So we can keep moving and keep organizing and keep doing what we're supposed to do.
Okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Awesome. Okay, Nadine.
Hi. So Carrie asked most of my questions, but one part that was not answered for me is how much time do we have for troubleshooting the new free Toast host system? Okay, so one of the things Carrie asked, one of the things that you said is if we don't have it filled, that those persons who don't have their information filled in will be booted, right? But how do you know? I know that we were told that this system is more efficient than the other system. How do you know that this system doesn't also, you might go in, you put in your information and you save it, and for some reason, right? So how much time do you have for troubleshooting?
Someone from the VPE team will contact you by email or by text and or by WhatsApp, and you need to respond. You need to respond. Lydia complained about it. Kathleen complained about it, that nobody responds to their texts and their emails, and they have to get one from Cynthia in order to respond. Cynthia is not going to do all that. You have to respond right away within the next 24 hours if you have a problem. So here's the thing. How about we put it on you? You need to verify that your information was saved. So you need to back out and then go back into the system, verify that it was saved. If it was not saved and you have a problem, you need to contact someone in the VPE team to troubleshoot that for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. My experience with, I know we're leaving Easy Speak, but my experience with Easy Speak was that I've done that where I've saved my information. I went back in to do something else, resaved it, and I didn't realize that my information was not in there until the day of my speech, my introduction.
Okay,
and
but
everything
if you had
was not
gone
there.
in again and verified, so whenever you save your data, it's really good idea to log out and then log back in and make sure your data is there. I think in general, you won't have that trouble with free Toast host, but it's a good idea in the beginning. But you are responsible for making sure your data was saved and is displayed in free Toast host. If you have a problem, then you need to contact a member of the VPE team and to troubleshoot it for you. And if a VPE member sees that your data is not in there, you've signed up for a speech, but all your information is not in there, they will contact you and give you 24 hours in which you have to have that in or you're booted out. And that will happen the Wednesday before the Monday. for sure. Drop dead. So really taking on your own ownership that my data is there, it's correct, it's safe.
Okay. And I do have one last, I don't know if it's question suggestion, but for those, when we're filling in the information a month ahead, could we have something else in place where, like, I don't know, where that information is like on a spreadsheet or something, and each person go in and, check off, yes, this is correct. So we know by the time they get to their speech, there's no issues. This is what you put in there. This is blah, blah, something like that.
We will not
is that
have
possible?
double duty. No, we do not have time for double duty. Everyone needs to make sure it's in the system, and it will be checked. It will be checked. Probably it will be checked the Wednesday before to make sure everything is as it should be, but there's no double checking work. Your mother does not work here. Okay? It's time for everyone to be professional and responsible and take care of themselves. And that will actually help you as a professional speaker. If you were being paid for that Toastmasters event that you're speaking on, you would not be handheld. And if you don't make sure your information isn't provided, isn't there and ready, and you make excuses for the dog ate my homework, the system swallowed up my data, it does not fly as a professional. And I've heard this complaint many times from professional planners and promoters. So this is really your chance to be in training as a professional speaker. And I expect all of our speakers will be professional. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, great. Awesome. Good question. Who's next? Nadine, who's next?
Carol has her hand up.
Carolyn.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Cynthia. You actually, I'm making a comment and then I do have a question.
Sure.
You actually riffed on something that I wanted to comment on. I appreciate the accountability that is being put in. As Toastmasters, we have values. We have core values, and accountability, even personal accountability, is part of our core values. So thank you for switching from Easy Speak to Free Toast Host. Many of our other clubs use it, and we use it quite successfully. What I also like about it is that we're able to track our speeches. So if you don't get your speeches into the pathway system where you're asking for your particular badge when you've completed, you can always go back into Free Toast Host, find those speeches that you've completed, those projects, and do that. All right, so here is my question. Because you're building this self-accountability into the system now, will the executive team sit down and identify what is the program for the entire year? What are the themes for the entire year? Because that allows us to identify, yes, this is the month that I want to speak on because my speech is within this theme. I can easily come up with a title, but that does not keep you bounded to that title. It keeps you bounded to that theme. You may switch your title a little bit, but you still have that space.
Okay, I have a question about your question. When you say the whole year, what are you talking about? The TEDx event? Or our regular meetings?
What I'm saying is, since it is a requirement to join Toastmasters to participate even in the TEDx, then the executive committee can develop a theme for each month that will be, I guess, the initiator of what we're talking about. Some months
Well-
we've celebrated holidays. Other times we've just had a theme for the month.
The theme of every meeting will be established by the TMOD who signs up for that role. That will be exclusively their responsibility.
My question is, will you do it for the entire year?
No,
Because that helps with the planning.
no, we're going, I don't think so, because that means more time for our committee. And we have lots of things we want to do. Every meeting should be, the theme is established by the TMOD, and the word of the day based on that theme is established by the grammarian.
Thank you.
Now, possibly we could choose different things that we're celebrating for the month, but I don't want our executive team to be doing this work. I want our executive team to be able to be focused on mentorship, on finding coaches for our TED speakers, doing other projects. I want our members to be a TMOD that can establish their theme for their meeting. And it could be based upon, Women's History Month, all of that. And maybe we would generally do that. I don't know. It's up to the committee, but I think the committee members are going to be spending a lot of time doing really important things. Do you think that's better time spent than actually finding mentors for people and finding out what people want to do, helping people get onto the Speakers Bureau? I don't know.
One of the things that comes immediately to my mind is oftentimes folks will say, what am I going to speak about? And just
But
having
there
a thing,
again,
and
it's their
having a
responsibility.
thing really helps, especially with one of the newer members, to begin
Okay.
to focus, to get, this is the month that I want to speak. I have something to say about that. It's not a really big task to do, but it really helps with the planning. If we want to consistently to have 2 to 3 speakers, we should be able within the first couple of months of the year to actually fill that calendar of speakers. We would have speakers clamoring to be in those spots.
And if we only choose a general theme for the month, is that what you're talking about? Like
That's
February?
correct. It does not have to be.
Then we could do that.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a big.
That should only take about 15 minutes for the committee to do. And we could do that, but there again, we're not shirking the responsibility of the TMOD. They hear that theme, but they come up with their own theme that either matches the month.
In the beginning, it doesn't matter where it comes from my perspective, just that we have something to start thinking about. I mean, for example, I may want to speak in December. It's Christmas. I'm going to plan for my Christmas talk. I may not be interested in speaking in January when my birthday is there. But you get what I'm saying? I mean, we want to have robust meetings. We want to make sure that our program is well planned and it's filled, and we're not scurrying for speakers and evaluators. And that way, folks know that when they are assigned, it is not that big of a deal to remind someone you are speaking in the next month. And then the accountability still kicks in. They have to do their work, their part. That's my comment. That's my question. I don't have to discuss it further.
And the executive committee could come up with 12 broad themes for the month, but the responsibility for the theme of the meeting is the TMOD, just like supposed to happen in every Toastmasters club. And the word of the day is come up with by the grammarian, and the Toastmaster will generally focus, the table topics master will generally focus their table topics on that theme and word of the day, but they're still, they can still choose a different theme for their table topics. It's ownership for each individual. And I don't want our speakers to think they have to speak on the theme. No, especially as they're practicing for their TEDx event, they should be speaking about their TEDx speech. I don't want them to think I can't speak on child abuse awareness because it's Women's History Month, or it's Black History Month, or it's, Red Banana Day. I just want every speech is independent. You are a professional and you are responsible for your speech. So if you want to give your birthday speech on the 4th of July, do it. It doesn't matter. Your speech is your responsibility. Because I do not want our executive committee to have to hold hands and make the plan for the meeting. Everybody needs to do their part. The executive committee is going to be focused on bigger things. Okay, Carrie Kelly. See your hands up?
Yeah, I just wanted to get clarification. If you are the TMOD for one meeting and the word of the day needs to come from the grammarian and the table topics needs to come, whoever's doing table topics, and those things all need to coordinate. We need to talk to each other? Is that right? The three
Possibly, but the order of things would be the TMOD chooses the theme and it's written right there on Free Toast Host. The grammarian sees it and they choose the word of the day, and the table topics master sees the theme, the word of the day, and they decide on their table topics. And this should be all done a month in advance, so you have time to do it. So when you choose TMOD, you also choose the theme of the day. When you choose to be grammarian, you also choose the word of the day. If the theme is already there. And when the table topics, you don't have to list it, but you can get it from there. So ideally, the TMOD would be signing up first.
Okay, so it's all gonna it's all gonna flow if that works, but never mind. I'm not gonna make it any more complicated. And
the TMOD is responsible for the theme, and they have a team. So they also need to make sure that the general evaluator is in place, and then the general evaluator makes sure we have a timer in place, and the general evaluator makes sure we have a grammarian in place, and that the word of the day has been chosen. And the TMOD also makes sure that we have speakers in place and table topics master. So they're leaders, but they're driving the agenda.
Okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. So Diana, what are your questions?
Sorry, some of my questions were kind of answered through some of the discussion back and forth. Given that this is like my second ever meeting, I just had to get some clarity around how these meetings work. So and I thought I got some clarity, but then I got iffy again, because it sounded like you sign up for a role for the meeting. You have responsibilities that are associated with this role. Those include setting a theme for the day, making sure
If you're
that
the Toastmaster, if you choose the role of Toastmaster, you're like an MC, and
Mhm.
that Toastmaster role is responsible for the theme. Okay.
Mhm. And now it sounds like these other roles, including grammarian and the table topics person, have to come up with their roles within the theme of the day. Because at some point I thought you were everyone is responsible for their own, and it doesn't have to be related. But then it
For
came back around with
speeches, if you're a speaker, you have to have your title of your speech and the theme of your speech, and it does not have to match the theme of the day. It does not, and it most likely won't, because you're speaking hopefully about your idea worth spreading, and that shouldn't shift on the theme of the day. That's your idea worth spreading. You may include, you may look at the word of the day and the theme of the day and say, do I want to shift my speech to include those, especially the word of the day, because you always get kudos when you do. But that has a way of shifting and opening. Myself as an example, I'm working on my TEDx speech, and it started last October. I have given it in front of at least 30 to 40 audiences live on Zoom since that time. That's how much I practiced it. And recently I was invited to be a speaker at a district conference with over 100 people there in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And they asked me to modify my speech based upon the theme of their conference. And I did. And that changed my speech. It deepened my speech. It broadened my speech in ways that I could have never imagined by taking on that theme. And it even changed the title of my speech. So looking at a theme, it's up to you how you want to make that shift your speech, but you are responsible for your TEDx idea worth spreading, and you want to keep it as your, this is what I'm speaking about. That would be great. But when you see the different word of the day, a different theme, that might deepen and add more value to your speech. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And just back on, just a comment on the accountability thing. I do understand where you're coming from about everybody kind of having their own autonomy. And now that you've stated that everyone's speech is really going to be whatever their speech is, regardless of the theme, and that should only add to it, I think it makes a lot of sense for, you know, the person that's giving the speech to come up with, you know, the topic and the themes to be determined by the Toastmaster of the day. I think there's plenty of online resources for everyone to do those things individually and figure it out on their own, as opposed to just delivering a list for the year. I kind of am siding with you on that.
The only thing I think though is that it's nice to have a theme, an overarching theme that they can choose from for like Black History Month, Women's History Month, Child Abuse Awareness Month, Mental Illness, Mental Health Awareness Month, so that we have some overarching, because there are certain things that I think as a club we want to make sure we celebrate. And inclusive. Yes.
Yeah. Can I add something to this, Cynthia? So,
yes,
Yeah, thank you so much. So Diana, actually the theme is the glue that binds a meeting together. So think of it like the string through beads. So the beads and the string doesn't have to be the same, right? So the theme of a meeting is carried out by the Toastmaster of the day, and they mention the theme in between various segments too. They add their little snippets about the theme. It's entirely up to them. And then the speeches actually come from pathways, and pathways, when you're crafting a speech from pathways, you can do it on any topic, but you have to stick to a brief. That, for example, your speech has to be an introductory speech, or it has to be a research-based speech, or any other specification. So, given that we expect members to prepare for at least a week, if not more, for a speech, it is not possible for them to know beforehand what will be the theme of the meeting. So it does not make sense for them to artificially link their speech to the meeting theme. Although, as Cynthia said, if you're confident enough, if you're spontaneous enough, you can do that by making some remarks in your speech, by linking it somehow to the theme, that by referencing it, not necessarily making it all about it, because we like prepared speeches need to be prepared. So when you adopt the process, you have to respect it, you have to respect yourself, you have to respect the audience. And one major part of that respect is to prepare for your speech thoroughly. So the theme of the meeting is reflected by the Toastmasters of the day, in the snippets in between, and maybe even the table topics, the spontaneous, the extempore speaking session, that can also be linked to the theme of the meeting. But the prepared speeches do not absolutely have to adhere to the theme of the meeting. So I hope that clears that up. And it is good to have a theme, because a theme is, yes, as Cynthia said, an opportunity to celebrate. But personally, for me, it is also an opportunity to give the audience knowledge about a specific subject, to make them aware of a specific subject which everyone may not be aware of. So I hope that makes everything clear.
Is that clear for you, Diana?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, great. And I do want to clarify, though, that when you choose your TEDx idea worth spreading, you can give that speech again and again and again. Different pathways look at different things. They look at write a speech with purpose. So for your TEDx speech, your idea worth spreading, how can I make the purpose clear? When you look at research and development, how can I add research, development, statistics to add to my speech? And TED really likes those. They like them to be researched, to be verified that you put it in there, but and also that you don't overwhelm people with too much data. But it's a very good idea to add statistics and quotes and information to your speech that will solidify the information that you are giving. But your only requirement in pathways is to meet the project details. And most project details do not focus on the content. However, we do have some that do. We have understanding your communication style, understanding your leadership style, or mentorship, introduction to mentorship, where you talk about yourself as a protege and how what your experience was as being mentored by someone else. Those are more formulated, but you can weave your TEDx idea we're spreading into your mentorship speech. You can talk about it. You can weave your TEDx speech and ideas into understanding your communication styles, because that's about you identifying. There are 4 Toastmasters communication styles that Toastmasters has identified. You pick your top 1 or 2, because sometimes you have a second one that's in effect. And then you're supposed to talk about how your communication style affects your communication with others. And you could absolutely work that into your TEDx speech or information. If it's based upon client relationship in your TEDx speech, then you could talk about how you have worked with certain of your clients based upon your communication style and theirs. So it's a really good way. Toastmasters projects are a good way to give you a different perspective on your topic, but they in general are not dictating your topic. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's helpful.
Awesome, awesome. And it's important to remember that every project speech isn't necessarily different content, but a different project. I call it layering it with vocal variety, layering it with body language and gestures, layering it with a purpose statement, layering it with research, layering it. And that will make your TEDx idea worth spreading more rich and more worthy of going viral. Absolutely. Anything else you want to add to that, Tala?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well. And as you yourself said, that in general, Toastmasters does not place any limits on the topics of your speech, but some topics need to be very specific. And again, that is also the biggest challenge when we even think about trying to match a meeting theme to the speeches. So that no club actually does that. They don't enforce their members. A member may have a special keynote matching the meeting theme. There are some specialty clubs that do that. And in fact, Leaders Worldwide also used to have keynotes, and they were usually aligned with the meeting theme. But again, those are special speeches, and those are not necessarily from Toastmasters even. So the Toastmasters curriculum will take you through your own course.
Great. And I will say, if you're the Toastmaster of the day and you have a TEDx idea worth spreading, you can absolutely infuse your idea worth spreading and make it into the theme so that you can take it deeper with it. And maybe that will even add to your TEDx speech. Looking at it as an MC, as an overarching theme, and how can I infuse this? It's really, Toastmasters is an opportunity to stretch yourself as a speaker and a leader. And I believe that what we do in Toastmasters should support what we do outside of Toastmasters, whether it's TEDx, whether it's professional speaking, whether it's our own work as a coach, as a CPA, whatever we're doing in our home life. Toastmasters is a really good tool to hone your techniques as a speaker and as a leader. And here's the thing, if you are a speaker, you are automatically a leader because you're in the front of the stage, as it were. You're giving a speech, you're sharing information, everyone sees you as a leader. And that's why I believe Toastmasters is so powerful, because the motto is where leaders are made. So it's not just about speaking, it's also about being a leader. And it's not just about leadership, it's about speaking, because leaders need to be speakers, and speakers are already seen as a leader. So you'd better have good leadership skills. They go hand in hand. Great. So we still have some time left here, unless we want to take a break and then come back and ask some more questions, but I don't see any more hands raised. Do you, Nadine?
No, Cynthia.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to take a break? Do you want to continue, or do you just want to do takeaways and chocolates and be done for the day? What would you like to do?
I'm complete. I don't know about anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
I
we're,
think,
Yeah, let's just end the meeting.
yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a winner.
so let's do some takeaways and chocolates and make sure that everybody got what they needed in this meeting. And we'll start with you, Teresa. What are you taking away with you from this meeting?
I find the whole structure of the community TEDx intriguing. I really like the whole idea, and I really have to hand it to you and your executive committee for pulling it together and structuring it, because it is a tremendous amount of work, even just the research to find out what the application process and what the structure is like had to be really a yeoman's task. So kudos to you, and we're all very excited about participating and finding out more. So thanks very much. And this was and I'm really happy to know that you're getting away from Easy Speak as well.
Awesome. And I will say the yeoman's work is not done yet, and it has
I
not really
appreciate that.
started. It will start in August. And actually, it wasn't the whole executive team. Kudos to Nadine, because she pushed me to task to have a draft, at least, of when we're doing what. And I was very resistant to that, because I can't do anything, especially organizing, until we have our agenda set and easy flowing every month. But she put me to task, and she and I got on the call on Friday, and we ironed out that when would we be ready? She said, well, how long do we need to have the agenda in place before we can start organizing? And that's when we came up with, we're going to have it in place for the month of July, and then we can organize in August. And we worked out a bunch of other things that we could do. Every month actually had a marker, right, Nadine?
Yes, and I will unfold it and send you all that we spoke about. I'm sorry, I haven't done it yet, but I will do
No problem. We don't really need that until our August meeting. And we did come up with, we'll be doing the auditions starting in November, and hopefully we'll have our event in February or March. But really, that's all dependent, number one, on the ownership of the agenda, having it complete every month, and number two, on how far we get in our planning. And I think it's a great idea to not have a planning committee and not just rest on our executive committee, but for all of our members to have a planning meeting like we're doing today as a planning meeting, but have an actual planning meeting in August. The first Monday in August and the second Monday in August will be devoted to planning our event. Does that sound good to all of you? Great, great. And Teresa, would you like a chocolate, a virtual chocolate? Would you go with your takeaway? Or any other treat?
Oh yeah, give me 98% cacao.
Oh, nice dark chocolate. 98%
I like my chocolate
cacao.
like I like my men. Oops.
And do you want to add anything to your chocolate, like nuts or sea salt or anything?
Oh, sure.
Caramel?
Lay it on everything.
Like an everything bagel is an everything chocolate.
There you go. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thanks very
Enjoy.
much.
You're welcome. And Diana, what are you taking away with you?
It's been a really informative meeting. I didn't even know about pathways actually. So kind of digesting all of it, how it's going to be helpful. It looks like my timing was really good for, just being the kickoff meeting to pre-planning the whole event. I'm excited, a little nervous, but Yeah, I'm excited. So it's been very informative and I appreciate all the time you've taken to answer my question.
And thank you for your great questions. This is awesome. And it's live streamed and recorded. So I think your questions will really help a lot of people, members and guests alike. Great.
Awesome.
Would you like a virtual chocolate or virtual treat?
I actually don't like chocolate, so that makes for a fun conversation.
Yes, we have the world at our disposal. We have mangoes, we have peach cobbler, we have Reese's peanut butter cups with white chocolate, whatever you want.
Or you know what? I'll have a tres leches.
Tres leches. Ooh, yummy, yummy. I love it. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy your tres leches. Great. Awesome. And Sally, what are you taking away with you? You're awfully quiet this meeting. You're on mute.
Come on. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm quiet because I'm trying to digest how to get in and get started on looking at the new pre-toast host arrangement and how to do it. And I'm looking forward to using much more of Toastmasters agenda than I have.
Great. And you're our grammarian, so you'll look at the theme of the day and choose the word of the day.
Yeah,
Great.
I love doing that. And as you know, so words are important and I'm getting fresh ideas for a new speech.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And would you like a chocolate or any other treat virtually?
I would like medium chocolate with nuts, please, walnuts.
With walnuts. Okay, here he comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy.
Have
Aha.
that for lunch.
Awesome. Dessert for lunch. Okay. And Carolyn Douglas, what are you taking away with you today?
Oh, I am really excited about moving to free toast. I am open to innovation, but you know, it does come to a point where when you find something that works and it works absolutely well, go with it.
Yes.
Go with it. So I'm taking that away. I'm happy about the progression toward TEDx, and I have an open mind to see how all of that works. So that's it. And of course, my preference is chocolate covered walnuts.
Okay. Dark chocolate or medium chocolate, milk chocolate?
Today, I'm going to have the milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate and covered walnuts. Awesome. Yeah. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3.
I receive it.
Oh, enjoy, 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 enjoy. And let's see who's next. Cassandra, what are you taking away with you? Cassandra? Maybe she's away from her mic. Carrie Kelly, what are you taking away with you?
I'm muted.
Oh, you're unmuted. Okay, good.
Okay. I'm excited for what's coming down the pipeline. So
yes.
I'm just anticipating all this excitement. So yes, bring it on.
Bring it on. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it is something new. It is something innovative. We've got the new system for free toast hosts. So it is going to take a little bit of self-compassion and compassion with each other and working together. But we're really in it together. You have responsibility for yourself, but you also have a whole team to support you. You support them, they support you. That's how we're going to do it. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It's new and exciting. It's something to look forward to with anticipation and excitement.
Great. Yes. Great. And what would you like as your takeaway treat?
Almond Joy with chocolate, milk chocolate.
Ooh, almond joy with coconut. Ooh, I love that. Milk chocolate. Here you
Mm.
go. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy.
God,
Enjoy as you
thank
watch that
you.
beautiful ocean. Ooh, right out your window. I want to come to Hawaii. Beautiful. And Carrie Kelly, are you at your mic? What are you taking away with you? Maybe she's not there. Okay. Nadine James, what are you taking away with you? Oh, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Nate? There you go.
So what I'm taking away is that Toastmasters gives you the opportunity to grow in terms of your speaking, listening, discovery, leadership, and it also helps you to organize events, organize not only here in Toastmasters, but in your own life. It helps you to also hone in your communication on a general scale. So it could be here in Toastmasters as well as outside. And I like what Talha said, that Toastmasters have given him the opportunity of advancing in his career. And that's something I actually want to talk to him about. So I really like that, So thank you. That's my takeaway.
Yes, wonderful. And Leaders Worldwide, teamwork makes the dream work. And I want us to support each other in Toastmasters, in TEDx, but also in life. Because there's a lot of things that we can do. We could organize events around our topic outside of Toastmasters and enlist Leaders Worldwide members to support you in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want us to be a community of leaders worldwide that supports each other. And there's so many opportunities, and we can create even more. Beautiful. And what would you like to take as your takeaway treat?
No chocolate today. I had a lot of chocolate yesterday. So none for me today. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want a fruit, a mango or pineapple or something?
I will take a mango. I will take
a mango. I've got one here that's ripe. Really nice and juicy. Ripe,
Yes.
ripe.
Yes.
It's heavy. It's so ripe with juice. Okay, here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thank you.
Enjoy. Enjoy. And Carrie Kelly, are you at your microphone? Do you want to share with us your takeaway? She's not there. Okay, Tala, what's your takeaway? And I'll give it back to you at the end to close us out.
Sure. So my takeaway is that sometimes when we should not hesitate to change, number one.
What
number
was that?
Two,
I didn't hear that.
We should not hesitate to change when it is required. And we should embrace change with open arms as long as it ends up making things better. Secondly, we should continue to dream. Sometimes our dreams and ambitions will suffer setbacks or temporary delays, but as they say, eyes on the prize. So that's my second takeaway, that our eyes should always be on the prize, and one day, one way or the other, it will be ours.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what's your takeaway treat today?
Well, yeah, so I'll have some dark chocolate and mixed with coffee.
With coffee. Oh,
Yeah.
dark chocolate and coffee. Love it, love it, love it. And it will give you a pick-me-up as well. So here you go. One.
Yes. Yeah. It's 12:39 a.m. So yes, I could use it.
Oh my goodness. Maybe you need to go to sleep. Warm milk. Okay.
No.
Dark chocolate and coffee.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thank you so
Enjoy.
much. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And we're going to check in with Carrie real quick. And my takeaway, oh my goodness, that we have an amazing community. Oh, Carrie, you're there. Do you have a takeaway?
Yeah, I'm interested to watch the process with how this all works and to be a part of it. So for me, it's the usual white chocolate truffles. I'll wait.
Woo! White chocolate truffles. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you're here. And my takeaway is just that I feel blessed, honored, and excited to be a part of this community. And I think we have amazing speakers, amazing leaders, amazing ideas, and I'm excited to find out what we're going to create together for TEDx. It's the sky's the limit, you know. I think we can come up with some really great ideas and share our own ideas worth spreading at TEDx. And does somebody want to give me a chocolate or a treat? Tala, would you want to give me a treat?
Oh, yes. As per the Toastmasters bylaws, I am authorized, but not only authorized, I'm obligated to give you a treat. So what would you want?
I would like Belgian dark chocolate
All right.
with Himalayan sea salt
All
and
right.
caramel. Salty
Oh
and
my
sweet.
God.
Wow. I'll probably need a shot of insulin with that as well.
Or you can have a Snickers. It's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? You actually asked for a Snickers. But no, Snickers has peanuts, so it's more like a Mars. Anyhow, but with far more exotic ingredients. So yes, it will cost you a lot though. Let me warn you in advance. So I'll be sending you the invoice later. But here's your Belgian chocolate and with Himalayan pink salt and caramel. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Oh, I'll savor that after lunch. Beautiful. Back to you, Mr. President, to close us out. Uh-oh, he got frozen, I think. Is he there? Oh, he got frozen. We lost him. Okay, well, I'm going to close this out. We'll see you next week, Monday. What's the date?
No, he's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Do you want to close this out, Tyler?
Yes, sure. So the connection got stuck for a little bit, but all right. So everyone, I think we have thoroughly enjoyed today's meeting. And what's more important is that we have set a course for the future. We have decided how we will make this club even more special than it already is. And we have new excitement now, something to look forward to. I also appreciate thoroughly the fact, especially I offer my appreciation to Cynthia, because we were feeling slight bit of gaps between what was being planned and what was the members' understanding. And I believe this session was absolutely needed. And we need to have many more such sessions if they are required, right? So because there's nothing like clarity to get the members on board with one's plan. And I'm so glad now that everybody recognizes that what we are trying to achieve here. And I thank everyone for your participation today. And also, I absolutely love the questions, because that really showed that, whatever was being presented was being absorbed and recognized. We got some excellent pointers out of them, but overall, we got a beautiful vision of a future. So that's what we are taking away with us. So thank you so much, everyone. I hereby declare this meeting formally